Hi everyone, this is Leah again. So this week is week 2 and I will be talking about our interactive advanced concept, which was to make the lava lamp. So some key concepts for this lab were density and the limiting reactant. So density is just the mass per unit volume. And different substances have different densities. So one that has a high density, there will be a lot of mass in a given volume, and one that has a low density, there will be less mass in a given volume. Another key concept is limiting reactant. So this is the reactant that is completely consumed and consumed first in a chemical reaction. So once the limiting reactant runs out, the reaction will no longer take place. So our experiment today was to make a lava lamp at home. So the materials that you needed were a plastic bottle, water, vegetable oil, and Alka-Seltzer tablets. So a little overview of what we did. We just had to obtain a plastic bottle, fill it up with water, add the oil, and then add the Alka-Seltzer tablets. So this was me completing the experiment. So first, step 1, I obtained a plastic bottle. I just used a plastic bottle that I used for a different lab. Step 2 was you fill the bottle 1/4 of the way with water. Now, the instructions were not specific as to how much, it was just an estimate. Step 3 was to fill the bottle 3/4 of the way full with oil. And you can see in step 3 that when we put in the water and the oil, they separated. And the oil is on top because going back to density, the oil is less dense than water, so it is going to float above the water. And then the last step was to break up the Alka-Seltzer tablets into pieces and then add them to the bottle. So what happened? When we added the tablets into the bottle, we could immediately see fizzing begin. So the reason why this is happening is when you have the Alka-Seltzer tablet outside of the water and it's dry, the chemicals in it are separated because they're solids. But once you add that Alka-Seltzer tablet into the water, it begins to dissolve the tablet and then the chemicals begin to react with one another. So the chemicals that are reacting are sodium bicarbonate, which is a base, and citric acid, which is an acid, and they react to form carbon dioxide. And I also included the full equation between the citric acid and the baking soda. So the products of the reaction are water, carbon dioxide, and sodium nitrate. The main thing that we're interested in here, though, is the carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide, once it is formed, it goes on to bond with water, which creates these bubbles, which then float to the top of the surface above the oil. So this is just an example. So this was after the Alka-Seltzer tablet was added. We could see the little bubbles of water going up to the surface of the oil. So they're starting down here and they're floating all the way up. So if we think about this, this shouldn't be happening because the water is more dense than the oil, right? But once the CO2 bonds with it, this changes it and then makes it lighter and go to the top. So what is the limiting reactant in this equation? So I got the information of the masses involved off of the box of the Alka-Seltzer tablets. So there was 100 milligrams of citric acid and 1916 milligrams of sodium bicarbonate in each tablet. So if we convert this to moles, we get 0.0052 moles of citric acid and 0.023 moles of sodium bicarbonate. So then I took those moles and I calculated a mole ratio. So if we look down here at the equation, for every 1 mole of citric acid, we need 3 moles of the sodium bicarbonate. So I just basically took the number of moles of citric acid times the ratio of 3 to 1. and that would give me 0.0156 moles of sodium bicarbonate. So that means that if all 0.0052 moles of the citric acid were consumed, we would need 0.0156 moles of sodium bicarbonate. And we know that in that tablet we have more than that because the amount of moles of sodium bicarbonate present is 0.023. So this would mean that the citric acid is the limiting reactant in this equation because we would have a surplus of sodium bicarbonate, which means that the citric acid would run out first. And that is all. Thank you for listening.